Hey, I have a really, really condensed or filtered Goodwill haul today. Um, I have a death pile now because I went to the bins and got, I don't know, 60, between 60 and 80 items. Listing 15 a day plus thrifting every day, so I'm not trying to do volume right now. I'm trying to get through that bins haul plus the other thrift hauls that I got on a bins trip down to Sacramento. So this is all really, really just cream of the crop stuff. This is only stuff that I know is going to be worth money, and pretty much everything except for this one item here. I only got, I think, 5 or maybe 6 items. Everything that I got here is high dollar except for this. This is bread and butter, but it's Aria Co-op, and it's a women's large hiking cargo pants, and they're also convertible pants. So that's, it was only $6. Typically they price up REI. They price up everything at my Goodwill. My Goodwill is absolutely ridiculous. They don't even know the brands. I think they just price stuff up arbitrarily if it feels remotely nice, which is kind of ridiculous. But this was only 6. Convertible pants from the outdoor brands, even something like Columbia, they do well, do better in the summer because, you know, convert to shorts. That's kind of not really a winter thing. But for $6, and REI is a better brand than Columbia too. Should get 20 to 25 for that, which is, I'm happy to do off of the $6 purchase. This is not for sale. This is for me. I shop the t-shirt section, which I hate doing at my Goodwill because my Goodwill does the thing where they like rack the t-shirts high and then low. So they're not in like the middle where it's, you know, not where it's comfortable to browse the racks. So they're up high so your arms get tired, and they're down low so you have to like crawl basically. I actually didn't shop the lower section today, but I did find this. This is unbranded. It's just for me. This is an inside joke. It's a Unit Circle t-shirt. My friend was having trouble with this, so I figure I'll give this to him for his, give this to her for her birthday. This is a joke. Or maybe I'll wear it. I don't know. It looks like it'll fit me. Okay, and now we get into the actual higher dollar stuff. This is a brand that I've heard Big Yumbo promote. There were 2 of them at this Goodwill. I only picked this one up because the other one was priced at 8, and it wasn't very tacky. Jamie Saddock, women's golf brand, does these really tacky golf shirts and stuff. This isn't particularly tacky. It's got the weird, I guess, studs there. I don't know. This one's not super tacky. The really, really tacky ones I've seen sell for like $50. But this one I should be able to comfortably get 25 from. And for $6, I'm happy to do that. Mostly I'm just testing out Yumbo's recommendation to see how this one sells. I don't really know how to sell this brand though because it seems to be very visual based. And I think that's something that I want to talk about. So certain brands, particularly women's brands, this is more prevalent in, and I'm not even going to worry about vintage, but women's contemporary brands, often it's going to really matter what the thing looks like, and this matters both ways. So for something like an outdoors brand, like Prana is a really good example of this, the really loud, tacky stuff doesn't actually sell that well, because, you know, people are looking for I don't know, a pair of Prana hiking pants because they want to go hiking. They don't want to look ridiculous. Something like Jamie Saddock, I don't know. Golfers are crazy. They'll wear, loudmouth is pretty ridiculously expensive. Bad Birdie exists. Chubbies. Their golf attire doesn't have to be super technical, but a lot of the people who golf that buy these clothing items are looking for the really loud, tacky stuff. So it depends on what the brand is and what the purpose of the brand is and what type of market that the brand is marketing to. Because of the different, you know, types of people that brands market to and the different types of people that buy them, visuals have a huge impact on how fast your sales will happen and how much they will sell for. Another example of this in men's, for example, is like Wrangler. If you find Wrangler Aztec or Southwestern, or if you find it like a Mandarin collar, especially vintage, that stuff can sell for hundreds. In something like, I'm not sure, what's an outdoor brand? Now, Cool would still sell. Well, this Cool sells well for basics, but Cool, I found a really like loud. It was a paisley shirt. Didn't even. It took like 3 months to sell and sold for $20, which is weird. Like in another brand, like I found a cinch shirt that sold in a day for 25. It was all over paisley. So, really depends on the brand, but pattern does matter a lot. That was a rant. I hope it was comprehensive. This, I found a new clothing rack. It was only $7. This is the one thing. This and sport coats are the two things that my Goodwill actually prices down. Vests and sport coats. But vests actually typically hold almost as much money as the jacket counterparts. So this is a pretty. This is a section I always frequent because it's not priced that high. Only $7 for this Mountain Hardwear women's small vest. Typically these aren't going to be worth that much, but this one's weird. It's actually here's the material tag. I couldn't find the style codes on Mountain Hardwear. Don't work pretty much ever for me. They work very rarely, but normally they don't. This one was no exception. Did not work well at all. And if you look at the material I forgot, you're not going to be able to read that. Well, the material composition is that this is actually a 30% wool blend for the shell, which is not common, really, for these technical outdoors brands. So I looked this up on eBay, and very rare. There's like 2 actives and 2 solds, so it is 100% sell-through, but they aren't selling for less than 50. The lowest active, I think, is 50. So, yeah, Mountain Hardwear almost never sells for that much, but it's also this thermal fabric inside. I don't know. Should be a safe investment. Worst case scenario, it sells for probably 30, and that's still a very, very solid flip, 7 into 30. Okay, now we're getting into the actually like really good items. There's 3 of these. This is a brand that I'm actually wearing right now, Sims. This is not a jacket, though. It is a fleece quarter zip. Did not even bother to look this up. It was only $8. Was in the women's bottoms for some reason, women's activewear bottoms, but I shopped that because I like to. Sims, probably the best fishing brand. One of the best brands for reselling in general. I kept this jacket because it is flawed. I messed it up in the wash, but I also really like it. This I am, of course, going to sell, though. Didn't look it up in the thrift. Looked it up afterwards. Sims. Use the keyword Sims Fleece Quarter Zip, although I guess this is a half zip. Sims Fleece Quarter Zip XL men's. 3 actives, 17 soles. Shouldn't be worth less than, should not be worth less than 30. Probably 40, maybe 50. I don't know. Depends on what the competitors are, how good the competitors' listings are. But for something that has such a high sell-through, I'm probably going to price this around the top of the market just because the demand is so high. Found a lot of Athleta today. Didn't pick any of it up because it was all bad Athleta. You have to look up the style codes because every style has its own sell-through. Did pick this up, though, not Athleta, for $10. It is Lululemon, another new clothing rack find. And this actually has the tag still in it, which is uncommon. Really big size, 14. And this one is luckily a newer model, so it has a size dot. Not only does it have a size dot, let's see if I can find it again. It's always in this hidden pocket on the thigh, on the Wonder Unders, which I knew this was, but I didn't know what the specific style of Wonder Under it was. So the size dot going to be in there, and you're not going to be able to read that. But you start at the W. There's going to be like a circle of letters and numbers. You start at the W, go from left to right, start at the W, and then just type all of the letters until you hit the period. So this is W5BYTS. That's the style code of this particular pair of leggings. These are the super high-rise Wonder Under, and these are also big size. I just looked up Lululemon super high-rise Wonder Under. It was, I think, 200% sell-through. Shouldn't be worth less than 50. So $10 into 50 is a very safe investment, I would say. Pretty much flawless, not even any pilling on the thigh. So yeah, really, Lululemon is probably the most important brand to look up style codes for. Because if I didn't know what the style code for this was, I probably wouldn't be able to get, I wouldn't even be able to get 30 for that. I would probably sell it for 25 because it is such a big size. The big sizes in women's yoga pants and leggings actually are better, I've found. Big sizes in men's pants, I don't really know. Again, watching Big Yumbo, he said that inseams matter. I haven't had trouble selling short inseams. I haven't really noticed any difference in sales velocity for long and short inseams, so I don't know. Maybe that's just him. Yeah. Okay, this is the priciest item I got, but it was well worth it. It is definitely the best item I got. $26 for a very educational reselling item. This Patagonia jacket. Now, I picked this up for $26 because I looked up the style code and then I looked that up on eBay. This is the Patagonia SST fly fishing wading jacket. And I kind of knew it was fishing related because it has this flap on the back that's like Velcro. Typically that implies some fishing related activity. Why? Oh wait, no. I looked that up on eBay, Patagonia SST fly fishing wader jacket, like almost 2x sell through, and the prices were minimum $200. A lot of them were selling for $250. I saw one that sold for a best offer off of $350, so I don't know how much that sold for, but really high demand, worth minimum $200, so I'm going to pay $26 for it. Why was that worth so much money? I knew it could potentially be worth that much money. I just threw it in my cart and looked it up later. I looked it up before buying it, but I didn't look it up at the rack because I just wanted to keep going. Anyways, I knew that was potentially worth that much because of a few things. So, didn't look at this on the rack, but first of all, with Patagonia, with most outdoors brands, vintage does not confer value. Even brands like North Face, typically vintage doesn't actually mean much. Patagonia is the exception. Vintage Patagonia can hold insane value. In this case, for example, or I found a Patagonia Simple Vest for $6 at a Goodwill in Pennsylvania. Sold it for $220 because it was a very rare fleece vest. Vintage Patagonia can hold crazy money. Patagonia looked vintage. This logo looks vaguely vintage. You can tell once you've seen Patagonia enough times. Also made in Hong Kong. Made in Hong Kong typically is vintage. That's a vintage place of manufacture. You typically don't find made in Hong Kong now for obvious reasons. That tag looks very old and faded, so that seems vintage. And then also the way that I could tell, technically this isn't vintage, as you'll see in a second, but it's close enough. There you see made in Hong Kong and the style. So the style is going to be on the bottom flap there. That's the style 81771. Look that up. That's how I got the name, the fly fishing deep wader jacket. I don't know if that's spring or summer, but that's S3, which means this was made in 2003, I believe. I don't believe this is made in 93, because 93 probably would have been made in USA. Regardless, really old Patagonia is worth money. Also, this is Patagonia fishing. If you ever find anything Patagonia fishing related, sometimes you'll see the Patagonia logo like etched in the shape of a fish. That is potentially really valuable, even if it's not this vintage thing. This is not that. This doesn't have that logo, but Patagonia fishing clothing, fishing specific clothing, is really expensive on the resale market and has insane demand for it. It's like most of the time at least 200% sell through on anything Patagonia fishing. So yeah, phenomenal find. Probably gonna sell this for at least 200, if not 250 or 300. The only active in this color is currently listed at $350, and it has 53 watchers, which is bonkers for a clothing item. So I figure if I come in and price it at 300, it should pop. Snap with that hand. It should pop like that really fast. Okay, I just stretched a 6 item clothing haul into actually 7 items. This is a lint roller I got for I think $1. Anyways, I just stretched that into almost 15 minutes. If it was informative, I don't know. Have fun with that information. Thank you for watching. Farewell.